So another thing, right, if we finish with the reporting, and now if we have places that we are paying and they are in, for example, tax haven. So here we don't have any, but if I did take all of this data from 1994, we do get something in Mexico. We just want to have a map to see for all of our payments that are going out of our payment program, because in SAP you got your payment program, you can see the actual country code where you're paying it. So it's a very easy test to do. And we want to see where in the world are we paying? Are we paying anyone in a tax haven? Because it's also a huge indicator. FCPA talks about it, and so do all the others. Because sometimes, it might be they just transfer the money offshore and then you give it to an agent somehow, and then the agent can then use it to do something for you that gives you some kind of strategic advantage. And this stuff's happening all the time. So we want to see where the money is going. And this map here, country for the bank out, is going to tell us. And what we've done here is done by inverse number of entries. So what does that mean? So it means that basically the dot is going to be bigger if it is rare, right? So if, for example, if I did put in the data here from 1994, you would see there'd be a massive dot for Mexico, because basically what happened in 1994 in this data is that there was a one-off payment to Mexico, but it's actually really rare. It's like you don't do it all the time. So, because if you are paying to a particular country all the time, it's like normal business, it's normal operations, and it's probably not going to be very risky. But if you've got 1 or 2 or maybe 10 payments to the Cayman Islands, and they're also quite high value, you want to have that huge dot on your map so that you can actually see it. So what we do is we do the inverse number of journal entries so that we can actually see that. Okay, and here we've got all of our customers and suppliers right next door, because we want to be able to see, where they are. So if I look at this one, this customer is called Ship Project. It might not be a real customer. Let's just assume that this one, Ship Project, doesn't really sound like a real name to me. If I click on it, then I can see where we actually pay this one. Are we paying it in which country? And it will tell us, if we can see where we're paying it. Now here you can see that we don't actually see where it's paying, and that's because we may be paying it through a system that's not the payment program. So this map is the SAP payment program, but you don't have to do your payments through the SAP payment program. You can also do them as manual journal entries. So if they're not in your SAP payment program, it means that you have got even less control for your payment. So that's also quite a good indicator to have. Okay, and we can see, we've got other graphs down here, similar ones, where we can see, want to know the number of transactions versus the value, because if you have a supplier that's having like a huge value but hardly ever any transactions, it means that they're kind of like one-off. They're not part of your regular business. And if they're not part of your regular business, you obviously want to check out what's going on. So we can click on this little dot here. For example, we can see this one is about life sciences. We've got 11 million going to them, 36 transactions. The scale is quite big here. So, it looks like there's none, but there are actually 36. But if you have a supplier that's got like, I don't know, 1 transaction, and it's a huge amount, then it's something you want to look at. So you can click on these dots, and it's just going to give you an idea of what's going on with these particular suppliers. This one's got 26, so you can click on those to see straight off. So scatter diagrams are really useful for seeing those type of things immediately. Just as the suppliers, you've also got, you might want to see what kind of customer it is or what kind of supplier it is. So if here you've got general customers, sold to party, like all different types of things. And you might see that you have something that's just generic customer or one-time vendor. You might see something like that. Here you've got do not use, for example. So you've got something like do not use. I think, well, it says do not use, but maybe somebody actually does use it and it's got that flag do not use. It might be because they don't want anyone to put that on the aging balance, right? And actually you do want to check it. So if I just clicked on do not use and a customer type, and again, the customer type is coming straight out of SAP. It's in a SAP table that gives you all descriptions of customer types. You can see it straight away. And here you've got the name of the customer. So, this one, how much is it? It's only 70. Okay, so we don't care. So the value is too low. So we don't actually care. But if you had a huge value for a strange looking customer, then that would be something that you'd also want to check. Another thing you want to check is if you've got the official flag for one-time vendor or one-time customer. So in SAP, there is actually a field that says this is a one-time customer, this is a one-time vendor. So we don't have any flag like that here. We might have some here. Let's just check. So your one-time vendor, we do have some, so I can click on this. And this is like the official, someone's actually said, yeah, okay, this is one-time vendor account, which doesn't often happen. Like sometimes you get supplier types as one-time vendor and it's not flagged as one-time vendor. So if we have one-time vendors, what do we expect? We expect that they are one-time, so we don't have many transactions, okay? And the value is going to be low. We don't expect to see much for them at all. Normally you'd see quite a lot, but this data is from the SAP sandbox, so you're not seeing too much. You also want to check, like, okay, maybe they don't even have a tax code. Maybe they are found in a tax haven. So other things that you can check about them just by using those filters. And you might want to check some SOD, like separation of duties information. And we're going to talk about this issue of like the same user doing different things on the same document flow, because that's really key. All right. So here I'm just like saying, okay, I created the supplier and then I entered journal entries for that supplier. That's like really risky, right? We should never have people doing that. So if somebody's actually creating a supplier and then they're entering entries for the supplier, then they could be like, you know, I create this fictitious agent or whatever it is. And then I'm going to enter journal entries, invoices and payments for them. They're not real, but I'm going to just enter all the stuff that I need to enter into SAP to be able to get that money out of the company and then use it as a bribe. And that's how I'm going to fuel my bribes. If you are interested in our free FCPA one-pager, just send me an email and then we will send you a link and you'll be able to get that Click application. If you don't have Click, don't worry, because there is a 2-week free trial, so you can actually put it in Click for Business or whatever, and you will be able to see still all the logic and the dashboards and all that stuff. And it comes with the dummy data that we've put in there already, so you can like get a feel for it.